BingX, a trusted global crypto exchange. Trade spot, futures, or copy top traders easily. Sign up via the link or referral code to get 30 USDT instantly, plus up to 1,500 USDT in bonuses for verification, deposit, and trading.
Fears are growing that a supposedly temporary line marking a Gaza ceasefire could become a permanent new border, with potentially dramatic consequences for Palestine's future. The Israel Defense Forces, or IDF, have begun installing concrete markers, painted yellow, every 200 meters. These markers are delineating an area that remains under Israeli control during the initial phase of the fragile truce, a truce that is showing worrying signs of stalling. This yellow line effectively cuts Gaza roughly in half, creating two starkly different realities within the besieged territory. In the western segment, Hamas is actively seeking to reassert its authority in the vacuum left by Israel's partial withdrawal. This reassertion has involved public executions of rival militia or gang members, whom Hamas claims are backed by Israel. Meanwhile, the other half of Gaza, encompassing the eastern strip and the northern and southern borders, is witnessing a significant reinforcement of IDF military outposts. These positions are actively engaging anyone approaching the yellow line, regardless of whether the markers are clearly visible or not. Residents caught in this new reality express deep uncertainty and distress. Mohammed Khalid Abu al-Hussein, a 31-year-old father of 5, whose family home is in Al-Qarara, north of Khan Yunis and just east of the yellow line in the IDF-controlled zone, describes the pervasive fear. He states that the yellow lines are not clearly visible in his area, leaving residents unsure of where their rights and limitations begin or end. He recounts harrowing experiences of being met with gunfire from every direction, accompanied by the unsettling presence of small drones observing every move. When attempting to get close to his home, he expresses the heart-wrenching feeling of being stuck between hope and fear, unable to return to his house, questioning the purpose of a ceasefire if it prevents him from accessing his own home. His deepest worry stems from the possibility that this demarcating line might endure indefinitely, permanently barring any return. This intense policy of engaging anyone approaching the line, reportedly ordered by Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz, follows a deadly attack on October 19 in the southern city of Rafah, which claimed the lives of 2 Israeli soldiers. Tragically, even 2 weeks into this supposed ceasefire, an average of over 20 Palestinians continue to be killed daily, with many of these fatalities occurring near the yellow line. Consequently, very few displaced individuals are venturing back into the areas now under Israeli control. The political obstacles to progressing to a second phase of the ceasefire are immense. This phase would necessitate Hamas being disarmed and replaced by a multinational stabilization force, alongside a full IDF withdrawal to positions closer to Gaza's border. However, the right wing of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's governing coalition is vehemently opposed to any further withdrawal or the internationalization of control over Gaza. In this political impasse, the yellow line is increasingly solidifying its presence, becoming more physically apparent, and is being referred to in Israeli media as a new border. Military correspondent Yoav Zatoun, writing in the Yedioth Ahronoth newspaper, has predicted that this yellow line could evolve into a high and sophisticated barrier that will shrink the Gaza Strip, enlarge the western Negev, and allow for Israeli settlements to be built there. Jeremy Konondik, president of the Refugees International Advocacy Group and a former U.S. aid official, describes this development as appearing to be a de facto creeping annexation of Gaza. Under the terms of the U.S.-brokered ceasefire that took effect on October 10, the IDF's withdrawal to the yellow line would have left them occupying 53% of the Gaza Strip. However, BBC satellite analysis of the newly placed yellow markers suggests they have been positioned several hundred meters beyond the proposed line, indicating a further significant land grab. An IDF spokesperson has declined to provide an official comment on the BBC report. An earlier IDF statement acknowledged the commencement of work on marking the yellow line with a concrete barrier with a pole painted yellow, standing 3.5 meters high, intended to establish tactical clarity on the ground. What is undeniably becoming clear is an ever sharper partition of Gaza. The majority of the surviving 2.1 million population are now being crammed into half the territory. Amidst the devastating ruins left by years of Israeli bombardment, Ayman Abu Mandil, a 58-year-old father of 9 with the remnants of a house in eastern Al-Qarara, articulates the grim reality. He explains that the yellow line, as communicated to residents, lies approximately 1 kilometer past Salah al-Din Street, the main north-south thoroughfare through Gaza. He harbors little hope of returning to his former home anytime soon, describing the presence of cranes, watchtowers, and tanks along the line, with the Israeli army monitoring every movement and opening fire on anyone who approaches. He, like others, has not personally seen the yellow markings due to the immediate targeting of anyone attempting to reach those areas, with quadcopters readily firing on anyone perceived to be moving towards them, making even approaching their own land feel like a crime. At the core of this ongoing division and violence lies the inherent vagueness of the truce itself. The Trump peace plan, a document outlining 20 principles and aims, lacked any clear sequence or roadmap for achieving its goals. Rohan Talbot, Director of Advocacy and Communications for Medical Aid for Palestinians, describes the plan as incredibly vague. He highlights the current moment as one where numerous actors, including the Israeli government, the United States, the international community, and humanitarian organizations, are all actively attempting to interpret and influence the path forward. Drawing on decades of difficult experience in occupied Palestinian territory, Talbot emphasizes a crucial guiding principle. Anything temporary in occupied Palestinian territory very quickly becomes permanent. The current stalemate leaves at least half of Gaza's population unable to return to their homes or even contemplate rebuilding. The hopes initially sparked by the ceasefire are rapidly diminishing. Salah Abu Salah, from Abbasin al-Kabira in East Khan Yunis, now situated on the wrong side of the yellow line, recounts the constant cycle of destruction. He describes attempts to get closer to his home being met with renewed destruction, further bombardment, and advances by military vehicles. The shelling from artillery, tanks, and drones continues unabated, creating the persistent impression that the war has never truly ended. He expresses profound fear that the Israeli army intends to establish new borders that will permanently prevent any return